Hey, everybody, welcome back to the channel. You're listening to the longest running superhero role playing game on Earth, also known as the Continuum Chronicles. And as always, I'm your host, Chris Kent, the Game Master, or GM for short. And as you may be able to hear, depending on the microphone quality, I am sick. um, I actually recorded the last three videos on Wednesday as I was starting to get sick, because I didn't want to record a video uh, after I'd lost my voice. And I actually uploaded those three videos to YouTube. And then this last one I uploaded today, for some reason, had no audio. I don't know what went wrong. So hopefully this one records. And I apologize for my voice. That said, this is the final part of the adventure that was inspired by the X-Men six-player arcade game made by Konami in 1992. If you haven't seen the first six parts, I will put a link below. Check those out first. Otherwise, this might not make a ton of sense. All that said, let's dive in. Previously on X-Men, Magneto kidnapped Kitty and Professor X and took them to Island M. The X-Men went there, fought countless villains, and saved Kitty. Then they saw a giant sentinel flee the island to Asteroid M. So Kitty picked up everybody in the Blackbird, and as we speak, our heroes are flying towards Asteroid M. So then we get into the main plot of today's adventure. As soon as the X-Men arrive on Asteroid M, they are greeted by golden sentinels. This space base is also guarded by Yuzu-form droids that are little more than a mobile turret. The X-Men hack and slash their way through these enemies until none remain. Then the heroes are ambushed by Reavers. These enemies are all identical, and their lower body is basically just a high-speed tank. Each Reaver is carrying a machine gun and firing at the heroes. Cyclops yells at them, asking if they're insane. One stray shot could blow out the massive bay windows here, and all of them could be blown out into the vacuum of space. Due to the extreme danger, the X-Men have to work fast. What follows is basically a bunch of called shots to the head of each enemy. The heroes beat the villains before the villains can get them all killed. As previously stated, these are not the real Reavers. Earth is being plagued by aliens who look just like villains. That's why all of these guys look like the same Reaver. So that said, as the X-Men continue, they are attacked by two more of these aliens. One looks like Wendigo, and the other one looks like the Blob. Fighting both of these guys at once is a pain, literally. The heroes lose a ton of hit points, and when an alien version of the White Queen gets in on the action, things are even worse. The X-Men finally do enough damage to Wendigo and the Blob that those guys are knocked out. For a second, it seems like the heroes won't have to fight three bosses at once, but their hopes are dashed when Nimrod and Juggernaut attack. The heroes beat all the villains and are forced to use the MRD med kit again to recover lost hit points. Upon doing so, they take the very last capsule. There will be no more healing for the heroes from this point on. The heroes get to where Professor Xavier is being held. He's behind an electromagnetic force field, and before they can do much of anything, Magneto appears and threatens them to turn back. He reminds them that he is far more powerful than they are, and compared to him, they are nothing. But the X-Men won't leave without Professor X. So they attack the supposed Magneto, and it turns out to be a bluff. This was the alien Mystique. She's way tougher than the original Mystique in terms of her strength and durability, but nonetheless, the heroes defeat her. As they free Xavier, a wall explodes and the main villain ambushes them. He declares that he is Magneto, master of magnetism. But Wolverine says he's yet another cheap knockoff in a long line of cheap knockoffs. Magneto laughs, then fires electromagnetic energy blasts at the X-Men who dodge these attacks. Magneto calls them cowards and pushes the attack, knocking out Colossus. Magneto bellows, "You are nothing," as he prepares to rip the adamantium off of Wolverine's bones. But Nightcrawler teleports to where Wolverine is, grabs him, and then teleports them both to the Blackbird. Storm shoots Magneto with lightning, but his energy absorption puts that energy into his power reserve. And his power reserve, in turn, fuels his magnetic control. So he shoots Storm right back, knocking her out. He tells Dazzler that her laser is electromagnetic energy too, and that she has no hope of defeating him. Dazzler holds action, unsure as to what to do, and Nightcrawler teleports her away. Nightcrawler keeps teleporting people out of there because they can't beat Magneto. And he gets to the point where it's just Cyclops and Magneto. So Cyclops is hitting the Master of Magnetism with optic blasts. Cyclops pushes the attack and gets a great roll, doing a ton of damage. Magneto loses half of his hit points in a single blow and is stunned for a round. Nightcrawler teleports in, grapples with Cyclops, and teleports them both to the Blackbird. Now, with all of the X-Men and Professor X on board, they go to leave. But Magneto sees this through the large bay window I mentioned earlier. And he uses his magnetic powers to hold the Blackbird in place and not let them escape from him. They don't know what to do. Magneto was way tougher than they thought he would be, and they're worried they're going to die. Nightcrawler then teleports to Magneto, grappling him, and teleports both of them into the vacuum of space. Magneto's eyes go wide. If he'd known this was going to happen, he could have put up a force field around him, capturing some air inside of it. But since it was a surprise attack, Magneto can't breathe. As soon as it's Nightcrawler's turn again, he teleports back into the Blackbird. Nightcrawler was only in the vacuum of space for 4 seconds, so he's not dead. The Blackbird flies away as a suffocating Magneto hurries towards the nearest airlock, desperate to re-enter his space station. As the X-Men fly back towards Earth, they don't know if Magneto is alive or not. Then we get to the epilogue. In Westchester, New York, behind the school for gifted youngsters, the basketball court opens up, revealing a secret underground aircraft hangar. The Blackbird lands safely inside. Nightcrawler tells Professor Xavier that he's sorry. He knows that if he did kill Magneto, that goes against the professor's philosophy of peace. Professor X tells Nightcrawler, that regardless of whether or not this new Magneto is alive or not, Xavier knows that Nightcrawler didn't want to hurt anybody. He just wanted to save his friends. Cyclops speaks up and tells Nightcrawler that they're in his debt. We owe you our gratitude, Kurt. Wolverine slaps Nightcrawler on the back and offers to buy him some German beer at a local bar in Westchester, New York. Nightcrawler is sad, but he does love German beer, so he accepts Wolverine's offer. The X-Men go to the bar that evening, throw a few darts, have a few drinks, and enjoy some much needed downtime. And that was it for that game. Yeah, when I ran it, the players had never fought Magneto, not as the X-Men. We've had Magneto in other adventures where he's fought, like a DC character or something like that, but they were surprised how difficult it was to deal with Magneto. And there was genuine fear in the group that they really did think it was going to be a total party kill. And they thought they were going to get the entire X-Men team wiped out. So they were very happy when that didn't happen. That said, thank you guys for listening to this. We're coming up on 200 subscribers, which I'm really happy about. I appreciate you guys. I know there's a million other things you could be doing, but you're here instead. So thank you so much for being here. It means a lot to me. Uh, if you want to keep supporting the channel, you know what to do, right? Hit like, hit subscribe, all that jazz, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.